Hey guys, so today we're joined by Mark Huntley, who is a long-term lazy trader and an active member of our online trading community. Despite being very busy with life, working full-time as a manager at Tesco, Mark is living proof that anyone can do tremendously well from trading from spending minimal time actually trading. In fact, he's actually made a whopping 66% on his account, which trumps the performance of many hedge funds out there. Mark, welcome. Great to have you here.
Hey, how you doing? You okay?
Yeah, I'm well, thank you. Fabulous game.
Awesome.
Congratulations. What an amazing performance.
Yeah, absolutely. It was something to be proud of. I've been in the doldrums for a long, long time, and just there's a couple of golden nugget trades that just sort of seems to come out, and it just sort of built the account nicely. Yeah, I was really, really, really pleased with that. Really pleased with the way the account's gone.
Well, I mean, that's a game not to be sniffed at. In all honesty, was that this risking no more than 1 or 2% or a little bit more, just so that people can get a context of this?
In all honesty, it was a little bit more because it was a small account size.
Sure.
So obviously within the rules and stuff of this strategy, it is 1 or 2%. But because my account was so much smaller, the risk was always going to be higher. But I wasn't placing more than like one trade at a time. So it's not going to blow up the whole account if anything went wrong.
No, sure. Well, as long as you had a fixed percentage on every trade placed, that still is a fantastic gain overall, providing you've kept the risk, relatively speaking, low. But why do you think this year has been so massively successful? Is it just down to the market being kind to you, giving you the profit yielding setups, or do you think it's down to a little bit more than that?
I think it was down to being a bit more disciplined, being consistent every week, watching the market insider for the opportunities, being consistent in looking at the opportunities that were there, and choosing the best opportunities if there was more than one, it was choosing the best opportunity out of a lot of them. So yeah, it's more discipline. I think a lot more disciplined.
Well, any interview of any trader who's been in the market for decades will say the two most important raw kind of attributes to successful trading is are patience and discipline, and that's something which can be taught, but is certainly harder to implement that than it is just to simply say yes, I can do that. So tell me about your style of trading, Mark.
Just quite hands off, to be honest. So like I say, I've been following the lazy trader principles for a while. I've known you for about 10 years now. It is a hands-off approach, obviously because I've got pressures of everyday life, a 9 to 5 job at the moment as well. So to be able to make money from literally a Sunday afternoon looking at opportunities, it definitely helps.
So you
Quite a relaxing sort of situation, really.
Well, that's good. I think that's a sweet spot, and it's great that you're enjoying the benefits of set and forget trading in a kind of extreme way. So you literally just literally after work, you just look for the markets, or do you just trade the weekly? You just do it once a week. You said you talked about Sundays.
Yeah, just once a week. So all my days off. So I don't work Sundays anymore. I have done for years and years, but I don't work Sundays anymore since getting my promotion in my job. And it's a good opportunity for me to just spend a bit of time looking at the charts, looking at the opportunities, watching the videos. And yeah, so it really is hands off. Like what I've been doing is really hands off.
So you've made 66% return on your account from just trading once a week. That's fantastic.
Yeah, yes, it is fantastic. I couldn't believe the numbers myself when I sat down and actually worked it out. Yeah, like I said, it's on a very, very small account, but a percentage gain is a percentage gain, and I sat there and worked it out, and it came to 66%, and I had to tell you by email because I was so pleased with the result.
We were stoked. I know that you did risk a little bit more than 1 to 2%, but even still, even if we can have that, relatively speaking, it's a slightly more smaller percentage if we divide what you've risked by, say, 3, and divide your return by, say, 3, if you're risking 3% per trade. 22% is still bloody good.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Still 25% year to date. Even if it was on a bigger account and you were to divide those numbers, the results would still, the trades would have been the same. I would have taken the same trades. I might have taken the odd 1 or 2 extra trades out of a list of opportunities that were there, but based on the limited funds in the account and that sort of situation. It was a case of picking the best opportunities out of a bunch of opportunities that had arisen. So, for example, the gold trade back in the winter was an absolute corker.
Yeah,
we caught it right at the right time. It was an absolute sweet spot, and you know, we a couple of minor sort of losses on the way that were just sort of undoing the profits and stuff. But that gold trade was an absolute corker, and it really set the account on a good start.
Yeah, I mean, that gold trade was opportune, and it really conformed to the seasonality. We had the technicals lining up as well, and hopefully we'll get something similar this year, although gold does look a little bit dicey at the moment. It's very choppy, comparatively speaking. But I mean, Mark, I mean, you haven't always found trading easy. Like a lot of people, the old expression, trading simple, but it's not easy. What do you think represented a major turning point for you along your way?
Again, I'd say discipline. Because, like I say, I've been consistent every Sunday without fail for the last 12 months. Looking at the markets, watching the videos, looking at the opportunities, weighing up whether I should take that opportunity or not. You know, so when all the planets align, you know, couple that with the discipline, and that's when the results come. You know, and I like I say, for years I've been struggling up and down, like break even, losing money, and so the fact I've managed to do it on this particular account is really pleasing.
Well, yeah, and I'm very pleased for you. You've done incredibly well. So, I mean, would you say that your success over the years has been attributed from, ironically, doing less? From the sounds of it, I mean, you've only been looking at the charts and actually placing trades once a week. Would you say there's a correlation between you getting better at trading and you actually spending less time trading?
Well, in all honesty, I have been guilty in the past of over trading and maybe trying to force the issue. Yeah, it's a common thing, and it probably adds to those percentage people that don't succeed. And it's a case of over-analysing, overthinking the situation that's set up, and curve fitting a chart to place a trade for the sake of placing a trade, and it just doesn't work like that. And yeah, 9 times out of 10 they end up losing trades.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's a whole kind of argument, and it's quite a good argument, simply saying if it doesn't stand out, then don't trade it. If in doubt, stay out.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, what would you say? I mean, there are a lot of people in the trading community who are just starting out. Some people have never traded before. Some are, but unsuccessfully. Some are just about break even. Others more profitable. So what free tips would you give anyone just starting out listening to this?
Well, first and foremost is you've got to want it, and you've got to be consistent with it. If you're not consistent in your approach and you pick it up and put it down, and you pick it up and put it down, and I'll have a look when I feel like it, then you're not going to get the results. And I've been like that for years, and it's terrible. It's a terrible thing. You've got to be focused on wanting to do it, and you need to be disciplined to see it through. Make it part of your daily routine. Make it part of your weekly routine. Once it becomes regimented, it becomes second nature to do it that way. If you're following the rules with that consistency, then the results will come over time. It's not an overnight thing. It's a take your time and pick the best opportunities, because with the consistency over time, your results will start to show.
Outstanding. So very much like a muscle, isn't it, trading? The more you kind of use it, i.e. say once a week in your case, which is still the sweet spot, I would say. I mean, when you were learning, you did obviously apply a lot more to your learning before you got to the stage where you know what you know and you've applied it. You know your routine, and it's once a week, and that's a sweet spot for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've got a good understanding of like the terminology and the jargon that you'd associate with trading, and I've got a good understanding of technical analysis. But yeah, you know, when you're learning and stuff, it's easy to become an eager beaver and say, "Oh, that's a good strategy. That's a good strategy." Because you understand X, Y, and Z. But ultimately, you can have all the learning in the world, you can know all the information about all the markets in the world, but ultimately, all of that information is an information overload to a certain extent, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you could be the most knowledgeable person on the planet about trading. You could be a fully fledged academic, but it doesn't actually mean that you are a good trader. That's the rub.
Yeah, I think on the back of that is it's a massive psychological battle with yourself, because when there's real money on the table, it gets you thinking a little bit more, because you think, well, I could lose this here, or you know, and okay, the potential for reward's great, but it's still, there's money on the table, and it makes you think about things a little bit differently, and it's a difficult concept to get your head around.
Yeah, absolutely, and what you're doing is absolutely correct. I mean, you've proven to yourself with your stellar performance that you could potentially be ready for trading bigger money if you're more confident in your ability and application and the results. And obviously, we always say never trade with money that you can't afford to lose. But certainly, this will give you more confidence in yourself and your ability, and of course, the strategies.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I say, the consistency, the videos from the package that you know I subscribe to is very informative, and it's straight to the point, and it's easy to understand. And when it's easy to understand, it makes it easy. It improves one's confidence, and then it makes it easier to pull the trigger, because you have faith in the strategy, because you understand the strategy and why you're going to place a trade in that particular way. You know what the rules are. You know the entry plan, you know the exit plan, you know how to manage the trade. And with those three things, you know, it takes the pressure off a little bit.
Yeah, it really does. Well, Mark, you're doing fantastically well. Keep up the good work, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Rob. Really appreciate it. Thank you.